What's going on, guys? My name is Richard and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be covering Twilio Inc. or TWLO, which is my stock of the week. So we'll talk about fundamentals, technicals, and what this company actually does. And I've actually used their products and services before during an engineering project where I had to send text alerts based on camera input. So it was super easy to use, and I've actually considered making a system that uses their software to alert me when a stock breaks through a pivot. So if I end up doing that, I'll talk about that process. And if you want to know a little bit more about how I used their products in the past and how easy it was to set up, go ahead and check out the video that I'll link above right now. It's not stock related, so only really check that out if you want to and if you like engineering. But anyway, overall, I really enjoyed using their API with Python. It was very easy to use and set up, and I can imagine that it saves a ton of time and resources for enterprises and big companies. And in this video, overall, the format will be is first we'll check out their website a bit, talk about their products and services, then we'll talk fundamentals and Marketsmith, which is sponsoring this video, and then finally we'll wrap up the video by talking about the technicals. And the technicals for Twilio are really what drew my eye. It's been tightening up right now after a huge earnings gap up, definitely a sign of institutional accumulation, and volume has really been drying up as it consolidates. So there's an exciting stock, and let's get into the website. All right, so here is the Twilio website, and we'll just kind of go through the products, the customers that it has, those big companies, and find out a little bit more about what this company actually does, because I think that's always helpful as a trader, an investor, to understand the product and understand a little bit about the moat that separates it from its competitors. So overall, they've got a ton of different products and services. You can see Twilio Flex, SMS, text messages. That's what I use their services for. Voice, video, their email API, WhatsApp. So all those ways that companies would want to communicate with their customers, Twilio can pretty much handle it. And overall, going through, you can see they've got some pages for enterprises. They partner with these companies right here, Morgan Stanley, Kaiser Permanente, and they've also got a list of customer stories for different types of companies. So I thought this was pretty interesting. I went through their technology, healthcare. Healthcare is going to be a big one with everything becoming more and more online. Doctors are going to want to be able to send alerts to their customers through a service like Twilio. So I think that's really cool. And scrolling through, you can see a couple other companies that they partner with. So Melly, eBay, Shopify is a big one. Going through Lyft, Airbnb, Hulu, Box, Twitter, Yelp, and you can kind of also see what these companies use their services for, which I think is cool. So overall, I think that Twilio already has a ton of great customers, as we saw with Shopify, Airbnb, Lyft, and as more and more companies decide that they need that interactivity with their customers through text, through emails, companies like Twilio will stand to benefit from that service. So now we've talked about the actual website and what this company does. Let's go ahead and check out the fundamentals in Marketsmith. All right, so we're going to start off on a daily chart here. And the previous companies that I've covered as a part of this series, Dexcom, DocuSign, LVGO, all of them usually have excellent sales growth, earnings growth, or at least one of those. But if you take a look at the earnings and sales down here for TWLO, nothing really stands out to me, and it's honestly kind of lackluster. There is an increasing trend over the past few quarters. It's going from negative 57% to 0% to 20%. So there is earnings acceleration, but it's not the ideal thing that you want to see. And taking a look at the annual estimates, it's not that much better. You can see for 2020, the estimates are down. And for 2021, it's just supposed to be positive and getting back kind of to the 2019 level. The overall EPS rating as well is a very poor 44. The Group RS is a very strong A+. The SMR rating is a C. Accumulation distribution is a very strong A. And the overall composite rating is a 97. So overall, the ratings are decent, especially the composite rating, but the EPS rating really hurts this stock. But in the end, it's all about price action, accumulation by the big institutions. And that's really what I focus on here, that accumulation distribution rating, the composite rating, and the Group RS. This is very important. All the computer software enterprise stocks are leading at this time and are holding up during this intermediate pullback that we're experiencing right now. And let's actually take a look at the institutional sponsorship. You can see basically a tripling of funds over the past 2 years. That's exactly what you want to see. And overall, you've got 4 high quality funds investing in this company. And also looking at the RS line, you can see it is tailing up the past 2 days as it's outperforming the market, which is good to see. I would like it to challenge its previous high in that RS line. And if it can do that right before it breaks out, I think that would be super bullish. And overall, the RS rating is a very strong 97. So taking a look at the fundamentals, they're not the greatest, but you do have earnings acceleration. And for me, the chart and the price action is really what stands out to me with this stock. With that said, let's go over to TC2000 and talk about potential entries, because this definitely is on my watch list at this time, and I'm looking for a spot to start a position. All right, so now let's dive deep into the technicals. And first things first, before I try to find an entry setup, I always like to head over to a monthly chart and check out what the stock has done in the past. And overall, TWLO IPO'd below 30 and is now near 190. So that's a substantial increase. And it's also a recent IPO, which I definitely like. It's within that 10 years where companies have the most growth. And you can also see that from 218 to about 419, 519, it showed a substantial increase over 100%. So the fact that it's doubled in the past means it's capable of doing so in the future. And you can also see it had a green line breakout in 818 and went on a nice run after that and now consolidated a bit and seems like it's moving up once again with another green line breakout that was set in 619. So that's always good to see. And you can also see that on this green line breakout, huge volume was coming in. This is more than any month since its IPO, and that is very significant. That shows you that institutions are acquiring this stock. So that was the overall trend of the stock, and now let's narrow it down and find a potential entry on the daily. So first things first, as I talked about in Marketsmith, you have this huge earnings gap up, this power gap up on 31 million shares when the daily average is only about 4 million. So that is significant. That's not normal people buying. That is institutions and funds buying shares no matter what the price is. And you can see that it continued on for the next few days. And this is always a great sign to see. You don't want to see just one day breakout. You want to see continued support in the next couple days. And you definitely see that pattern with Twilio. And since then, it's pretty much just gone sideways no matter what the market has been doing. So it's been basing, and recently it's gotten very tight. And you can see that with these Bollinger Bands, the range is very small. And this is exactly the time that you want to be buying a stock, because you know quickly if it breaks below these lower Bollinger Bands that it's acting abnormal. And if it breaks above it, that means that the trend is likely to continue because of all that support from institutions. And zooming in, it's also notable to talk about how it's acted on those big shakeout days. So on May the 27th, where a lot of growth stocks moved down and then recovered, TWLO was a leader. You can see that it actually closed above the open, which is a very strong sign that shows that institutions are adding more to their positions and supporting it at this price. And this also happened on June the 5th, where it gapped down and actually closed green on the day. And this is a very strong sign. It's also been holding this 21 EMA, this purple line here, which is always a positive. And as I said, the Bollinger Bands are very tight at this point. It's still above that 21 EMA and it's just near the bottom of this Bollinger Band range. So it's a pretty good low risk entry. You're only, let's see, about 1.4% from the 21 EMA. So I'm not buying at this point because of the overall market at this time. But the fact that TWLO is holding up at this time when the market's been up 800 points, down 600, is very promising. And this is among the top stocks on my list to buy if the pullback recovers. So overall, the technicals are very strong. And the setup that I would use for this stock is either a green dot or a lower Bollinger Band bounce. And I think that'd be a great entry, a great low risk entry, especially considering how tight these Bollinger Bands have been. And I think it can really explode from this pattern. Now, another entry that I would consider, or potentially an add-on, would be a break above this high at 205, or eventually a break above into new all-time highs at around 210. So those are significant points of resistance that it hasn't yet been able to push through. But from the volume and price action, I would say that this stock is currently under significant accumulation and has a very bright future if the market recovers. So that is my analysis of TWLO. Definitely one to watch and keep an eye on. And overall, we talked about the fundamentals, what the company actually does, and the technical setup that I'm looking to use for this stock. So that's pretty much it for the video. If you did enjoy, please go ahead and leave a like down below. It really does help me out and my channel. And if you're new and enjoy my analysis, go ahead and subscribe as well. It's completely free. And I'll see you guys in future videos.